I'm not saying specifically sackcloth and ashes, but, you know, to stop, to have a time, to have a place, because your body, soul, and spirit are connected, you know. And if you've got one part going off, sometimes you can bring the other parts in to kind of shake and awake you. So that's another thought there. And I guess the last thing is just that repentance, like all good things just about, is a fruit of the Spirit. When Judas committed treason against Christ and got him killed, it says he repented himself. Well, he didn't go to God for repentance. He didn't go to God to try to get rid of that sin. Or if he did, God wasn't listening, because the end result for Judas was that he hung himself. You remember the story? Well, you could look back in the Old Testament. Was it Esau? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Esau? I think it was Esau. Jacob have I loved and Esau I hated. Esau sold the birthright. And it said he sought a place of repentance carefully with tears. He went to God, but God wouldn't hear it, because for whatever reason, God wouldn't have mercy on Esau. This repentance that we're talking about isn't something you can generate. Yet, like everything else, comes straight from the divine. So what you would have to do is ask God if he would, peradventure, lead you to repentance. And that is really what I had to say tonight. It seemed a little disjointed, Rick.
Well, the tape will tell all.
Yeah, the tape will tell all. Anyway, thanks for letting me talk to you.
That's why we have tape. We always go back to the tape. Sometimes I don't like tape for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes I don't like hearing what I just said because it makes me remember what I said, and that means I have to do it. Okay. Now I have a choice here. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, you know, I think I will go off of what Brad was saying. To turn to Ephesians chapter 4. I want to give a little mini thing here, a little tiny mini sermon before I get into the other sermon. And I was saying earlier that the Lord knows what you have need of before you ask.
That's right.
You know, I see a lot of times, and especially in times now when they're tough, I see a lot of people having questions like, if God's a good God, why does he let this happen? Yeah. And usually in those circumstances and those statements, people have completely disregarded their own actions in them. People have completely disregarded their own actions. They've disregarded their part in that. And kind of what you're talking about with regards to repentance, Brad, is the first key to repentance is to recognize that you need it. You know, if you're going to liken it to AA, it's that I'm an alcoholic thing. I'm a sinner. I mean, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge the fact that they're a sinner, but the Bible says that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. I often hear this phrase, why does God let good or bad things happen to good people? And I have to tell them, show me one good person, because there are none. I don't care what they do, they're not good because God said they're not good. He said there are none good save the Father, which are in heaven. There's none good. He didn't even consider himself good.
That's right.
And when the Bible talks about all have sinned, then that if all have sinned, then all need what? Salvation and Jesus Christ and repentance. Yeah. So when I hear people struggling and I hear people going through the various difficulties in their life, oftentimes those difficulties are the consequence of their actions. And the difficulty's purpose is to turn you back to God. We were playing golf today. And part of the little teeny mini sermon, or the mini thing, is that just the other day I was telling my wife that I need to go hang out with Paul Hayes. He used to be police chief here. I like Paul. Paul and I have had lots of nice talks. I like the guy. And I miss playing golf with him, but we've been so busy and everything. I said, I need to play golf. And there was this charity tournament I played last year, but frankly, I just couldn't justify the $150 to play. And he calls me up the other day and says, do you want to play? I had a couple people drop out. It's free if you want to come. I went, woohoo! So I went and played golf today. And I actually needed to get out of the house and just do something that wasn't work. I needed to get away from the computers, away from the phone calls, and just hang out with some guys and hit golf balls. And that may sound silly, but I needed it. And the Lord knew I needed it, and He provided it even when I didn't think I was going to get it. That's the God we serve. And that may be just a teeny little thing, but Brad may get a freezer that he needs. Okay, and I see people getting little things that they need because God knows what you need before you even ask. See, that's what His Word says.
That's right.
But there's one thing we have to do to be in that place. You have to humble yourself and repent. Amen. You have to seek Him first. See, if you're not doing those things, it's like me playing golf today. It started to rain at one point. It's never fun on a golf course. And if I got out from the cart, I would get wet. If I stayed in the cart, I would stay basically dry. So it's a lot like being in God's will. If I stayed in God's will, I was protected from the elements. But if I get outside of God's will and get wet, whose fault is it? The rain's fault? God's fault? Or my fault? It's my fault. And I watch a lot of people that are struggling, and they're struggling. Yes, the economy's bad. But let me tell you what. Jesus Christ is bigger than the United States economy. Jesus Christ is bigger than Bosch. He's bigger than Bilo. He's bigger than Walmart. He's bigger than Cottageville. And believe me, He's not affected by our gross national product. Do you hear what I'm saying? So let me tell you something. If you're hurting, there's one place to go. Jesus Christ. Because His Word says, if you seek Me first, this stuff I'll provide for you. Period. Now, He's either telling us the truth, or He's a liar and we have no business following Him. Amen? Really? It's one or the other. There's no maybe there with God. You either believe Him and do it, and He fulfills it, or He's a liar. The last time I checked, God can't lie. And I've seen Him operate in my life way too many times. I know that I know that I know that I know that God is God. And He will faithfully take care of those that seek Him. Faithfully. It may not be the new car. It may not be the brand new house. It may not be the brand new clothes. And it may not be filet mignon every night. But He will take care of you. You hear what I'm saying? And He will give you what you need if you're faithful. And that was that verse we were talking about. Because the Philippians had been faithful from the very beginning. And Paul says to them, after saying, you were faithful from the very beginning, from the first time you heard the gospel until now, you've been faithful. That's why I know that He which started can finish and will finish. But that's the God we serve. Every one of us here has issues. Why? Because we're human. I have not met a human that did not have issues. I only need to look in the mirror and see more issues than need to be counted. Because I'm human. I am not perfect. I am far from it. I am terribly and horribly fallible. Because I'm human.